In this video I'm just going to run through a quick demo of creating a macOS Hyper-V image on Windows 11. There are quite a few limitations to this kind of approach of creating a Mac VM on Windows. You know, one of the main limitations that I've found is the resolution is limited to 1024 by 768. There is a workaround that you can use to create a virtual desktop and your remote onto it using VNC. But the kind of experience isn't great, so it's just I guess one of these kind of gimmicky ways to get a Mac operating system running on a Windows virtual machine. So yeah, let's jump straight to the demo. So to start, we'll just head over to the Qonfused GitHub site and just go to the OSX-Hyper-V project, and then so this page here just kind of gives us an overview of the project, current progress, supported versions, how to get started, etc. like that. So and supported hardware. So what I'll do is I've already downloaded it, but we just click on the download zip, or we can clone to the local machine and then just extract it. So I've just extracted this into my temp directory. So in here we've got a scripts folder, which is what we'll run to kind of initialize everything. So if I just take a quick look at this, so this will just download a few things from GitHub, like the OCE builder, etc. So what I'll do is jump into a terminal. So this is running as administrator, because there's a few things that we'll need to do afterwards. But if I just do the build, run the build command, so that will download, like I say, download the OCE image and just unpack all of that, and just run a few other different config files. So it's actually creating a config based on my hardware, so CPU, graphics card, that sort of thing. So if we just go and have a look at quickly what that's done. So that's created this distribution folder here, and the important thing is it's downloaded this EFI folder there. So one of the things that I did before I actually ran that, and I'll just open up Notepad, is there's a config file here that's, like I said, it needs to understand what our hardware is. What I had to do is I had to emulate a Comet Lake CPU, which is an older CPU. So I'm running a Raptor Lake i9, so I had to just add this in. It's on the supported hardware. I think there is mention down here about doing that, but I had to do that just to get the image to boot up. So once that's been downloaded, what I can do is I can go into the into this dist scripts folder here. So this will contain a number of different scripts that we can run. So we could just create the EFI disk, which is essentially like a BIOS boot disk. We can create just the Mac OS recovery image, or we can do the whole shebang and create a virtual machine, which is what I'm going to do. So if I just have a quick look before I run that, so what that's going to do is create a virtual machine called macOS. It's going to download the latest macOS recovery image. It's going to set the CPU to 4 CPUs, 8 gig of RAM. I've actually found that 8 CPUs and 16 gig of RAM is better once you actually boot the Mac image up. It kind of recognises that as a proper set of hardware, rather than just a kind of cut down version. And then, like I say, it's going to run a whole bunch of VM commands for the Hyper-V. So what I'll do is go back to the terminal, PowerShell terminal. So if I go into the dist folder and go into the scripts, like I say, I can create, create the virtual machine. So we need to make sure that we've got Python installed on this. It's going to run some Python commands, but I've already installed that here, and it's just I just actually downloaded it from Windows Store, so there's nothing really particularly clever about it. So I'll just run that, create virtual machine, and like I say, it's going to download the OS recovery from Apple, which is quite good. So within the distribution file, we can set which image, which version of macOS to download. So this will be downloaded, the Sequoia image, if that's how you pronounce it. So it'll take a little while to download, but so one of the things that's it's that I actually kind of set this up for was so that I could just try a few macOS type of commands out, that sort of thing. I actually did try to do some development through Xcode. It's okay, it's not great. One of the limitations with this particular setup is it's not actually using a graphics card. So what it'll probably be doing is using the CPU to kind of emulate that. So some of the graphics are a bit slow. You don't get the resolution that you would get through a normal Hyper-V image, so you can't set it to anything more than 1024 by 768. But that's it's just a test. At the end of the day, if we were looking for something to kind of do proper work on, do some proper development on, or do some, image editing, we'd buy a Mac Mini or something like that, or a MacBook Pro or Mac Air or something. But like I say, it's just sometimes it's quite handy, especially if you're doing web development, to just emulate or to browse a site using Safari. So that's nearly downloaded now, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. Now, like I say, because it's downloading from Apple directly, it's it's a kind of Pucker install. So that's verifying the image. Now it's going through the options of creating the image. It's attached the drive. It's copying a few files over, so I haven't had to modify any of this script. The GitHub page is quite obtuse, really, in terms of kind of explaining all of this. You have to kind of read quite deep into it to find that that's exactly what all you need to do. So what I'll do is I'll just jump back into Hyper-V, so you can see here we've got a macOS image, and if I just go onto the settings of this, so it's set the hard drive to the EFI hard drive, so I'll just move that down. So it did all this for me. I've not had to touch this. It's disabled secure boot. So again, I didn't have to change that. I've not messed about. Set the memory to 16 gig. I've just disabled that because it's obviously going to try and use dynamic memory. And then we've set this number of CPU cores to 8, and then it's attached the drives. So let's put all 3 drives there. It's only offering some of the guest services, but again, there's another site or blog that I've read which suggests disabling checkpoints, so I'll just kind of do that as well. And I think that's pretty much it, really. So what I'll do is I'll just connect up to that image and just start it up, and you'll see that it's now coming up with this boot menu from OpenCore. So I'll just let that kind of run, and then it should start booting into the recovery image. So, you know, this is obviously Linux under the hood. I think as part of the open core image platform, but obviously macOS as well is, you know, it's a variant of Debian of some form. So that should run through. This is actually set to debug mode, which is why you're seeing all of this. And again, it's just the standard configuration that's been downloaded from the GitHub page. Not changed that. It's quite handy when you're new to something to see that it's actually doing something rather than just just doing nothing. So we have the nice Apple logo, and now it's obviously booted up to the recovery. So what we can do then is we can go into the disk utility there and click continue, and I can go to this volume here. So it's obviously seeing it as a 128 gig drive, give or take. So click on erase there, and we'll just call that macOS. Click on erase. So I'll just mount the disk as a APFS partition, and yeah, that's that done. So we can drop out of that, and now we can go into to reinstall the Mac Sequoia version on here. So I could click on continue. So click on continue there. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'll probably pause the video because it does take quite a while. But you can see that it's obviously starting up now. Pretty shortly it should come up with a time. It takes something like a couple of hours. So just agree to the terms and conditions, select the drive that I want to recover. So as you can see, it's now saying about 2 hours and 48 minutes. It won't take that long. It'll take probably half an hour or something like that. So I'll just pause the video now and I'll come back to it in a second. So hopefully that won't be too much longer now. Once this is completed, what we can do is, it's not that usable with the 1024x768 resolution, so we can install something called Better Display, which is something that I've seen be posted for the OSX-Hyper-V GitHub page. That kind of allows us to set a virtual display and give that a bigger resolution, and then use something called VNC to remote onto the image. There's a few things that we'd have to set up to get that to work, so I'll kind of go through that shortly. One of the things that we can run after is this optimized VM, and if I just open that script up, we can run this either through a terminal remoted onto the Mac VM, or we can kind of transfer it over and run it. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really noticed that much difference, but it does do some settings changes and things like that, so it's probably worth doing, I guess. Just go back and see whether we're still installing. Let's reopen up just in case it's... Yeah. So we've now got the kind of Apple logo there, and it's now running through its final kind of steps. So you can see that's now restarted and running through its kind of boot up sequence. Okay, so that's now booting up. and getting started. So if I just go to United Kingdom, so I can customize that to add in a different keyboard layout. Add that. It won't allow me to take off US. But I can add that. English, United Kingdom, there we go. So just say not now to that, continue. So we won't go through a migration assistant, we'll just, we won't set up the Apple ID, because like I say, it doesn't seem to work once you've got the Mac installed, so or macOS installed. So I'll just skip that, agree to that, agree. Just put my name in. Let's continue with that. So that's just going to create a local account. And enable that. I won't show any of that. Set that up later. And there we go. So welcome to Mac. Continue. I'll just set the keyboard up. So I'm using a UK keyboard. So it's detected that. So, you know, like I say, because this is running a virtual machine with only the resolution of 1024 by 768, that's why, you know, we're not seeing the background here. But you know, we can launch Safari, and we can go to the Better Display GitHub page, and accept all. We can download that. Yeah, that's fine. So from there we can run that. We can install the Better Display. So it obviously installed it twice, but there we go. So now we can run that application, and it should start up. And it wants us to give to allow it to do certain things. So I'll just drop in the password there, and then we can see that we've got the application installed here. So I can go to create a new virtual display. So I can create a one that matches my monitor. And I'll just get rid of that. So now we can connect that virtual display. So you won't actually see anything on here, but if I within settings in general, I can go down to sharing, and I can enable screen sharing there. I can also enable remote management, remote login, remote application sharing, that type of thing. So yeah. So one of the things that I had to do, I had to just lower the memory and processor just to get it to run through the install process. But that's fine. So from here, we can just go to Launchpad and I can just open up a terminal. So what I can do, just to allow us to connect easier, is I'll just switch this from the default switch to an external one, and then it will get an IP in the same range as my laptop. So now we've got Better Display installed, I can go to VNC and I can just remote onto this. And there's a few things I had to just configure behind the scenes, so that's why I just kind of re-recorded it. So here we can just go to, so this is one of the quirky things that it does, but if we open it up from here, you can see it opens up fine, and then we can open up Xcode. So I've installed Xcode on here. Again, just need to drag that over, so we can use that. And then if I open up a simulator, again I can just drag that over. Yeah, you can see the iPhone's booting up there. So it's not a great experience, if I'm honest. But it's one of these things that's worth trying. Just to if all you want a Mac for is to be able to go to a Safari browser, an actual Safari browser, as opposed to some sort of emulation, or an emulated iPhone, then I know that there's other web dev tools out there that you can get that do similar things, but sometimes it's quite nice to try something on a physical Mac. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, thanks, bye.